They say every empire begins with a dream, but Elon Musk's empire didn't start with a dream. It started with a nightmare that never ended. A nightmare that still chases him through every sleepless night, every impossible deadline, every rocket launch, and every billion-dollar gamble that defies logic and reason. Picture apartheid-era South Africa, streets divided by hatred, violence simmering beneath every conversation. And somewhere in that broken landscape, a small boy getting beaten so severely he couldn't walk home. Hospital visits became routine. Bruises turned into scars that doctors could see and scars that nobody could see. The bullies laughed. Nobody intervened. Nobody saved him. But the real torture wasn't waiting at school. It was waiting at home. Elon Musk, Elon's father, wielded psychological weapons sharper than any fist. The manipulation, the unpredictability, the cruel mind games that left wounds invisible to doctors but permanent in the soul. Years later, Elon would describe living with his father as mental torture, words that barely scratched the surface of what actually happened behind closed doors. What breaks in a child's mind when home offers no safety and school offers no mercy? Something broke in Elon Musk, or perhaps something was forged in that crucible of fear and pain. The boy discovered books, hundreds of them, thousands of them. Science fiction novels became portals to other worlds where heroes didn't get beaten, where intelligence was power. He wasn't reading for pleasure, he was reading for survival, building an internal universe where logic had power and wounded boys could become invincible, where scars transformed into armor, where pain became fuel. That universe would eventually manifest as Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, The Boring Company, and X. But first, it manifested as something darker. A vow whispered in hospital beds and sleepless nights. Never again. Never vulnerable. Never weak. Never at anyone's mercy. When Musk finally escaped South Africa, moving first to Canada, then to the United States, he carried a mission burned into his DNA with acid and fire. Never let anyone control you again. Build something so enormous, so powerful, so undeniable, that nobody could ever hurt you again. The world sees a billionaire entrepreneur who changed multiple industries, but peel back the layers and you'll find something much darker. A man sprinting away from shadows that never stopped chasing him. A boy who learned that standing still means getting hurt, so he never, ever stops moving. Money wasn't the goal, power was the goal. Not power over others, but power to reshape reality itself. If you control the future, nobody can hurt you. By his 20s, Musk exhibited behavior that terrified and mesmerized everyone around him, working for days without sleep, collapsing at his desk, then waking up and continuing as if nothing happened, living in his office because going home wasted time. People whispered 2 words behind his back. Brilliant, unstable. Both were true. Both remain true today. When Musk founded X.com, the company that would eventually become PayPal, his vision was too radical, too aggressive for the investors who wanted predictable returns. The board got nervous, and eventually they pushed him out, removed him from his own company. Too intense, they said. Too chaotic. For most people, that rejection would sting and fade. For Elon Musk, it became fuel. When people reject your vision, you build your own empire so powerful that they can never vote you out again. You become irreplaceable, untouchable, inevitable. Tesla was never supposed to exist. Every expert said so. Auto industry veterans laughed at the concept. Musk didn't care about selling cars. He wanted to force humanity into an electric future, whether civilization was ready or not. Behind the revolutionary headlines, Tesla was hemorrhaging money at terrifying speed. Production targets were missed by miles. Journalists wrote obituaries before the company even delivered its first vehicle. Then came 2008, the year that nearly killed everything, the financial crisis, and Elon Musk standing at the edge of the abyss with 2 dying companies and not enough money to save both. Financial advisors delivered the verdict: choose one. Any rational person would choose. Elon Musk liquidated nearly everything he owned and bet it all on both companies, divided his last reserves between Tesla and SpaceX. Financial advisors called it insanity. Musk called it Tuesday. Tesla survived by the thinnest possible margin. Then it conquered. Electric vehicles transformed from punchline to inevitable future. But survival demanded sacrifice. Employees described work weeks that stretched into 120 hours. Sleep became a luxury. Families fractured. Musk became legendary for explosive outbursts that left grown adults shaking. One engineer described working for him as living inside a tornado where brilliance and chaos spin together at impossible speed. If Tesla represents rebellion against the past, SpaceX represents rebellion against human limitations themselves. Musk believes humanity must become a multi-planetary species or face extinction, asteroids, climate collapse, nuclear war, artificial intelligence gone rogue. Any catastrophic scenario could erase human civilization in a geological eye blink. Critics call this paranoid, but what if the paranoid survive? Precisely because they see the dangers nobody else wants to acknowledge. SpaceX failed spectacularly in the beginning, rockets disintegrating on launch pads, incinerating years of work and millions of dollars in seconds. Experts predicted imminent bankruptcy. Musk slept in the factory because leaving meant wasting time. He pushed employees past every reasonable limit, demanding solutions that seemed physically impossible, until suddenly, impossibly, they did find a way. In 2008, the Falcon 1 became the first privately funded rocket to reach orbit, the fourth attempt. After 3 catastrophic failures, the world saw success. Musk saw validation, proof that obsession works, proof that reality bends when you refuse to accept limitations. Now SpaceX dominates the industry, lands rockets vertically like something from science fiction, prepares missions to Mars while governments struggle to maintain their existing programs. But it's not about rockets, it's about escape. If Earth isn't safe, build a backup planet. If this world hurt you, build another one where you write the rules. Then came Twitter, or rather X. Musk didn't buy Twitter for $44 billion to make money. He bought it because Twitter had become personal, a stage where he could shape public reality in real time, a battlefield where he could fight critics directly, a weapon he could point at anyone who questioned him. When he took control, entire departments were eliminated in hours. Thousands of employees discovered they'd been terminated when their keycards stopped working. Executives purged overnight, systems gutted, the company infrastructure dismantled and rebuilt according to Musk's vision. The world saw madness. Musk saw clarity. He was reshaping Twitter into X, not just a social media platform, but a hybrid creature. Public square, financial platform, AI laboratory, everything at once. Today, Elon Musk exists at the razor's edge between brilliance and destruction. He pushes employees until they break, then pushes himself twice as hard. His personal relationships fracture and fail with predictable regularity. His emotions swing from eerily calm to explosively angry in heartbeats. He works compulsively, driven by visions of futures only he can see. Humans merging with artificial intelligence, cities powered by solar energy, humans walking on Martian soil. These visions aren't products of a peaceful mind. They're products of a mind constantly battling shadows from its past, a mind that discovered staying still means getting hurt, so movement becomes compulsive, mandatory, the only thing standing between survival and destruction. So who is Elon Musk really? A visionary who drags humanity forward, or a damaged man fleeing childhood trauma by building bigger monuments to his own brilliance? A savior pushing civilization toward a better future, or a tyrant imposing his will on people who get crushed under the weight of his obsessions? The uncomfortable answer is all of it. Simultaneously, the genius and the madness are the same thing viewed from different angles. Musk isn't building rockets and cars and platforms. He's building armor around a wounded child who never healed. Achievement by achievement, company by company, billion by billion. Layer upon layer of protection against a world that once broke him and might break him again if he ever stops moving. He's fighting ghosts that whisper he's not enough, never was enough, never will be enough no matter how much he accomplishes. Look closely at Musk's empire and you'll see the architecture of trauma written in steel and silicon. Every company addresses a fear that lives inside him. Tesla fights the fear of environmental collapse. SpaceX fights the fear of human extinction. Neuralink fights the fear of artificial intelligence leaving humanity behind. X fights the fear of losing his voice. These aren't business ventures, they're survival mechanisms, elaborate coping strategies for a man who learned the world is dangerous and the only protection is power. The genius is real, the accomplishments are undeniable and world-changing, but so is the darkness, the instability, the wreckage left behind, failed marriages and broken relationships, burned-out employees carrying their own scars, children who barely know their father because he's always working, always building, always running. Here's the terrifying question nobody wants to ask. What happens if Elon Musk ever stops moving, if he stops building, stops fighting every battle? Like his life depends on it, does the armor finally crack? Do the shadows finally catch up? Musk himself seems to know the answer. That's why he never stops. Can't stop, won't stop. Movement is survival. Stillness is death. The world watches his next move with equal parts fascination and dread. Will it be revolutionary? Will it be disastrous? The truth is, it will probably be both, because that's who Elon Musk is. A walking contradiction, a damaged genius reshaping the world while running from himself at impossible speed. The future will carry Elon Musk's fingerprints whether we want it to or not. The electric vehicle revolution, the privatization of space, the transformation of social media. These aren't just business achievements. They're permanent alterations to humanity's trajectory, seeds planted that will grow for generations regardless of what happens to the man who planted them. And at the center of it all stands a man who learned in childhood that the world is cruel, that safety is earned through power, and that vulnerability is something you bury under achievement after achievement until nobody can see the wounds anymore. The dark truth behind Elon Musk's empire isn't about greed or ambition. It's about a boy who got beaten so badly he couldn't walk home. A boy who suffered psychological torture from the one person who should have protected him. A boy who escaped into books and built an internal universe that eventually, impossibly, became real. That boy never left. He's still there, inside the billionaire, inside the CEO, inside the man who can't stop building because building is the only thing that keeps the darkness at bay. And he's still running, still building, still fighting shadows that only he can see. Because for Elon Musk, stopping isn't an option. The darkness is patient, but so is he. And the world watches, mesmerized and terrified as one damaged man tries to save humanity while running from himself.